Merry Christmas, everyone. For millennia, the emancipation of our Lord and Saviour from his frigid mother's womb has caused something of an annual palaver. Religious or not, every December 25th, entire continents are brought to a standstill by gathering, preaching, feasting, singing, merrymaking, gift-giving, and arguing over Euston Road. From Dickens to donkeys, Christmas is deeply embedded in our history, culture, and even morality. But through the years, we've seen its original message of peace and charity be hijacked by exploitative money-grabbing suits, and the once wholesome festival be contorted into a shallow orgy of excessive consumption and superficial consumerism. So where did we lose our way? In this episode, I have a very special treat. Via a Christmas miracle, I have been able to track down the Series 1 Christmas special from December 2016, a broadcast so jovial it almost got me raided by Ofcom and banned from Surge Radio. Accompanying me in this nostalgic tumble down the Christmas rabbit hole are Barter in the Booth stalwarts Ross Macknay, Jake Cutter, and wannabe co-host Jack Herbert, along with special one-time guest Dr. Ryan Barter. Together, we boisterously tackle the large questions surrounding the C word. Expect passionate debate on the Christmas build-up, family traditions, the consumerist takeover, the Battle of the Eves, the greatest festive tunes and films, and a stocking load more of jolly chat. So throw some logs on the fire, pour yourself a nice fat shot of mulled wine, hunker down in a soft but sturdy wingback chair, and let the dulcet tones of Wessexmas past lull you into the festive spirit. I'm Harry Barter, and you're listening to the Barter in the Booth Christmas special.
Good afternoon and welcome to a very special day. This is the Christmas special of Barter in the Booth, and we have an absolute blinder of a show in store for you today. Joining me in the booth, as always, we've got Mr. Jack Herbert.
Hello, Barter. Thanks for having me again.
I can't wait. We've got Ross Macknay.
It's an honour to be back, Mr. Barter. Thanks for the invite, and big shout out to Gerbert over there, believes he's the co-host.
Yeah, we'll see.
That's what people keep telling me.
We'll see about that. And then we've got Mr. Jake Cutter.
Thanks, Barter. Cheers for having me back.
After your reviews from last week, I had to invite you back on. There was no way I could get rid of you. And then joining us, fresh from the shores of South Africa, is my own brother, Ryan Barter.
Hello, Barter in the Booth squared today.
This is true. We've got two Barters for the price of one, along with our other distinguished guests. Now, we're talking Christmas today and everything Christmas. Oh, actually, before we get cracking, I should probably inform you that we are Facebook living this show. So if you are lucky enough to be friends with myself, Harry Barter, on Facebook, I am streaming the show live. So everyone give the camera a wave. So if you fancy a bit of visual aids, then get yourself onto Facebook and yeah, get involved in the Facebook Live. And also, if you want to get in touch, you want to request a song, or weigh in on some of the hot topics that we're going to be discussing today, then you can get in touch at Surge Radio or hashtag Barter in the Booth, and we will pick this up here. Now, like I said, today's a Christmas show, and we're going to be talking everything Christmas. So the first thing I want to talk about is sort of what signifies Christmas for you. Well, because obviously you have stuff in the shops for months before, and sort of Christmas song. You have all the hype for quite a long time. But for you personally, when does Christmas start?
For me, I think Christmas starts 1st of December. I hate when people, I've said this before, when people start putting the decorations up before the 1st of December. Like, as soon as Halloween starts, was over, people start looking forward to Christmas, and I think that's ludicrous. I think 1st of December, we should put our decorations up, we should celebrate it, and then after the 31st of December, put the decorations down.
But dates aside, is there anything specific that gets you in the mood for Christmas and gets you excited?
Oh, awesome.
Is it the decorations? Is it the Christmas adverts? Is it the songs on the radio?
I think really is the mulled wine with a mixture of the songs on the radio, bit of Pogue's First Day of New York.
Yeah, we'll come to music later because we will be chatting about our favourite Christmas songs later on.
It gets me in the Christmas spirit. It gets me everything, really.
For me, when I see Rockin' Rudolph on tap in the various pubs, that always gets me very Christmassy. And, you know, slipping on that soft Christmas jumper for the first time of the year. Also, that's when I know it's Christmas. Today you'll see, dress code has kind of fallen by the wayside, but I am rocking a Christmas jumper, as is. I mean, the Barters are representing today with the Christmas jumpers.
I did get the mail.
And that is,
sorry, I forgot.
And yeah, for me, that's sort of when I get in the Christmassy spirits. How about you guys?
As far as Christmas traditions go, I think the Cutters don't really have many other than getting pissed and arguing. I think our biggest Christmas tradition is arguing.
So you know when Christmas is coming, when the arguments start?
Yeah, I think Christmas Day tends to go pretty smoothly until dinner's all fine. It's brilliant. It's great, and then we get to afterwards. We tend to play board games. And board games usually split male versus female, like a 8-on-8 split, and males always tend to win. I know that's as bad as that sounds, but
they are just better, aren't they?
Joke. We're superior.
It gets
satire.
It gets every year. It's reliably it gets heated, and even last year, my great aunt Chris actually left the ball game table partly because of the arguments and partly because the females were losing. And yeah, she stormed off, drove home after quite a few sherries. So caused controversy within the Cutter household.
How did that pan out? Did she?
And with the police.
Yeah.
Personally, for me, the start of Christmas is when, just for me and myself and my family, my mum sends me a chocolate advent calendar in the post every year, start of December. And for me, I think in the top of my head, Christmas is coming very soon.
Do you keep up to date on your advent calendar?
I imagine you coming in drunk and scoffing them all.
No, I don't do that. I really don't do that. I'm normally
You're
the
a
type of guy
disciplined man.
to forget for eating them for
You've not
a
done
good
the
few
25th
days.
yet.
4 or 5 days, I don't eat them. And then when it comes to, 4 or 5 days later, that's when it starts, scoffing the mouth of the
Do you
lazy
ever-
bitch.
really?
But I've never actually, gone out of the way and just eaten the whole advent calendar at
But
once.
aren't you
'Cause
so-
I think that I don't do that. I don't know who people
But aren't you
do
sometimes
that.
prone, Ross, to having sudden bursts of appetite?
Yeah.
For whatever reason,
Yeah.
you sometimes
Sunburst
find
of
yourself
appetite, but
very hungry.
I would never go away from, taking the numbers out of the advent calendar because that is, for me, unholy. It's against,
it's heresy.
yeah, it's against tradition, and I've always followed the tradition, so, I always resort to other options.
Has it not come to you that you might be rushing breakfast or something, you're feeling particularly hungry, and you've just gone 2 at a time? Maybe 7th
no.
December, 8th December.
Never, ever.
A bit of a pickup.
Never ever cheated.
I like the
like that.
idea
Never.
of Ross Macknay, big, quite intimidating, first team captain, hooker, popping out a chocky every morning before he hits the gym or
what
before he
advent
gets
calendar
on the sauce.
I get it every year. It's a dairy milk one.
Really?
I don't. That doesn't change.
Toy Story 3
No, it
or
doesn't change.
Frozen or anything like
Dairy milk calendar is the one for me every year in, year out. My mum doesn't forget that. And if she's listening right now, thank you for sending me that chocolate advent calendar. It's gone down the treat so far. Keep it up.
Nice.
Wow.
And
Thank you, Mrs.
Oh, and Harry, didn't you? I recall about 10 days ago when you come over to my house.
here we go,
We were going out. We hit Jesters or Sobar. I can't really remember.
lads.
And I had my mum sent me also a calendar, an advent calendar, and he said to me, which I can't repeat on Surge Radio until 9 o'clock at night. I'll quote this. He said,
Paraphrase it.
paraphrase. Sorry. He said, "What are you doing with this scoundrel of a childish calendar?" And I was like, "Oh, it's Christmas. You got to get in the Christmas spirit." He said, "What are you doing?" He said, "You're too old for that. You should be having a bloody good time instead of a calendar."
So Ryan, when does Christmas
Oh,
start
here
for
we
you?
go.
Probably sounds like a worst co-host.
So Ross, what do you?
I have omnipotence, so I am host.
What do you feel about that, Ross? About having an advent calendar at the age of 19?
I will cut your. You're getting too big for your boots, mate. We'll just cut that down there. So Ryan, when does Christmas start for you?
I also agree with the Christmas jumper tradition, but I've reached a point where it's quite embarrassing. I'm actually wearing a lovely, for you Facebook timers that are watching us, I'm actually wearing a nice Christmas jumper, but it's actually a hand-me-down from my younger brother, which is quite embarrassing. So,
I mean,
Christmas jumpers.
but you are lucky that I've got such good dress sense.
Yeah, but you grew out of this at 15.
This is true. And also other than what get you started for Christmas, one thing as well that really got me in the Christmas spirit is on Saturday, me and my house decided to have Christmas, and I cooked a massive Christmas dinner for 6 people. We sat around, we watched films, we listened to Christmas songs, we drank wine and sherry, and we just chilled out and had a nice Christmas day, which really got me in the mood. How did your house Christmas fare? Because I know we had a couple going on.
I think it's only my first year for a pre-Christmas Christmas, but it's definitely kicked me into the Christmas spirit.
I think it's probably better than the family Christmas, right?
I'm feeling more Christmassy than ever. After last Thursday, we all sat down and had a bloody good Christmas meal. I think, shout out to Toby Fricker. I know he's an arch enemy of the show.
I know what? I thought you were going to go somewhere else with that.
after having a primetime Thursday afternoon radio show to himself, I know he's not listening, but he cooks a bloody good chicken and made his own cranberry sauce. So yeah, thanks for that, Tobes.
You had chicken?
Yeah, no, well, we're not organised enough to get turkey.
So my big thing was making the gravy on Christmas Day. I was up bright and early, boiling down giblets, making stock.
Oh, you went all
love
out.
giblet.
And it turned out well. Yeah, I mean, you could have eaten anything if it's smothered in that gravy that I made. You can't really go wrong, can you?
I mean,
how did your Christmas fare, Ross, on Kitchener?
I mean, it's a yearly thing, a yearly tradition we do. And as soon as I hit second year, we all chipped in a bit of money and we went out to the shops and bought, a chicken or two, and then, bought everything, absolutely everything. There wasn't a thing missed out, even the Brussels sprouts that I actually despise. So, this year was great. We had a good friend, a good housemate of mine, big shout out to Kite, who actually ordered the food in. We had a beef joint, a gammon joint, and chicken.
Strong.
So it was a big variety, and I'll tell you what, it was probably one of the best roasts I think I've ever had. And if my mum's listening, I apologise because I appreciate your roast, but I'm sorry. This roast it melted in my mouth, and it was fantastic. So
I mean, it made me realise. Don't get me wrong, it can be quite a lot of pressure to cook a Christmas dinner, but what's all the bloody fuss about? All right, we drank. We watched films, we listened to music, we chatted, I cooked a roast, it was a nice day, and no one had a bloody mental breakdown, there were no arguments. Why can't that happen normally? What is it about middle-aged people that they just bloody whinge and make a fuss about everything?
You pick your friends, but you don't pick your family, don't you?
This is true.
You're guaranteed to have a good time with your 5 best mates.
This is true.
And when you got your great Auntie Chris there, Eddie Havoc is getting shoot, isn't it?
And your drink drive home.
Yeah.
But also your mum normally does a roast, probably most Sundays, like my mum does. And yet suddenly the roast you do we just locked Jack.
Yeah, so we've locked Gerbert out of the booth for having such abysmal chat. He's in the sin bin for 5 minutes. So. Sorry, Ryan.
No, I was just saying how your mum would do a roast every single Sunday, and it goes without any hiccups, and then Christmas just loses her.
Chuck a couple of pigs in blankets in there, everyone loses their mind.
Exactly.
Right, I'm feeling Christmassy. I want to get in the Christmas mood. So we're going to have our first Christmas song, and this is one of the better ones. This is East 17 with Stay Another Day.
oh yeah.
That was East 17 with Stay Another Day. I hope you're enjoying the Facebook live stream and giving you a bit of an insight into what goes on when the songs are on, when we're not chatting here on Barter in the booth. As you can see, it's all matter of chaos. Now, as is customary, we've got a new guest on the show. And he is family, but that doesn't mean he's off the hook, so he will have to tell a interesting or hilarious story. So I'm going to pass you over now to Ryan Barter, who's going to fill you in on his time in Africa.
So I'd just like to say that was a lovely song by E17, but has anyone ever noticed there's a bit of a strange lyric about where he touches her face while she's sleeping? That's a bit weird.
Yeah, I mean, I'm all for Christmas, but
There's a lie.
There are boundaries, even on Christmas.
Thanks to my childhood, that's ruined it completely.
Is that a festive tradition in your house?
No, I don't think so.
So, thank you for inviting me on the show, Harry Barter. There's definitely no nepotism or family connections. It's purely
You're here purely on merit.
On merit, yeah. As he says, I've just come back from a bit of a jaunt in southern Africa. I did a whip round for stories about myself amongst my friends, most of which would either get me arrested or struck off the General Medical Council. So I've gone more for a sort of interest piece. To get to the rural place that I worked, you had to drive through a game reserve. There were often giraffes, zebras, nice animals around. But there was one afternoon I was sort of driving back, and I noticed a lion had an entire antelope in its mouth and was dragging it up the hill, and nearly sort of he just nearly hit it into my car.
Wow.
A lion,
An actual lion.
A full-grown lion.
A lion, like in The Lion King.
one of those from Africa.
Really?
It's like you guys have never heard this story before.
So let me get this straight.
So
You were driving home from work
in Africa.
in
Yeah,
Africa
yeah.
through a game reserve,
Yeah.
and you saw a lion eating a gazelle.
He was carrying an antelope in its mouth.
Not eating.
So this just shows you that really David Attenborough is making a big fuss about nothing over, finding this cool
quite a
shots
regular
of animals.
occurrence.
Because all you've got to do is go to South Africa, drive down the highway, and you'll see all manner of carnage.
Yeah, snakes and iguanas, what are they?
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's
I mean, you go to Jesters, you see some of these sorts of things.
it is definitely a bit of a zoo out there.
How was your first experience of jesters?
Well, exactly like being in Africa, it's a complete zoo.
Was it?
Yeah. I could hear David Attenborough narrating.
This is good.
I was just going to say, talking of snakes, shout out to Felix Brasser, who's just texted me saying that he's listening. So good to.
Oh, that's good.
Oh.
Shout out,
Felix.
Felix. I'm hoping that with the accompaniment of the Facebook live stream, that this could be our
pick up more than 10 listeners.
this could be our biggest show yet.
There's literally dozens of people listening at the moment.
Scores,
of viewing, actually.
Scores of people.
Yeah. Let's not get that far.
Watching.
Score of people.
There's at least one score of people listening and watching. Now, another thing that we sort of batted around was the idea of New Year's Eve, Christmas Eve, and contrasting it with New Year's Eve as a better, sort of just an all-round better night. And I'll start by saying that I think New Year's Eve is sort of overstated, overpriced. It's always just a complete non-starter. Whereas Christmas Eve, you go back, you hit a load of pubs, you see the people that you've from back home that you haven't seen for ages. You have a few drinks and you have a great time, and there's no pressure because it's not really about Christmas Eve, it's about Christmas Day. So Christmas Eve, there's no pressure on you to have fun. So, you can just go out and have a good time.
So New Year's Eve is obviously completely commercialised, whereas Christmas, we still really get to the true heart of what it means.
I mean, especially in my house where, we're at church at midnight. I mean, it's good because sometimes if the pubs kick you out around midnight and you're out of booze, you head down to church, you have a few glasses of wine, few crackers, few crackers to take the edge off. you know, there's nothing like the body of Christ to soak up an evening's booze.
You're going straight to hell, Barter.
I'm a Catholic as well, and I find that quite offending.
What?
So
in English.
Oh, here we go.
On the tweets, we've got the Catholic Society of Southampton.
Yeah.
Condemning us.
We've also got the Pope saying, condemning Barter in the booth.
But no, honestly, you know, Christmas Eve is. I didn't really go out on Christmas Eve to a few years back, and it's a fantastic night out. You know, for me, where I'm from, it's always snowing during Christmas Eve. You know, there's always a lot of snow being, you know, falling down over the pubs, if you know what I mean. But New Year's Eve, you know, it's, you know, for a typical night out in Oceana back home in Watford, you know, you're paying £35 for a ticket.
Well, this is the thing, even...
to think it's your regular on a Monday night out, and then you wouldn't pay £35 to go into the same place.
Well, at least
you go to every
Oceana,
week.
you might pay to go in normally, whereas there are pubs in Dunstable that are, you know, that are dead, sort of all year round. You go there on a Friday, you know, they should be paying you to go in there. These places are dead. And then come New Year's Eve, they're charging you £10 to get in to a pub.
Yeah, to a pub. Yeah, I mean, that's been a growing concern over the past few years, is that pubs are now, you know, making their pubs ticketed for the actual Christmas Eve. And
Post-Brexit.
yeah.
I think the problem is that obviously New Year's Eve is the big one. No one really cares about New Year's Day. There's no really celebration or anything. Whereas Christmas Eve, like I say, the onus really is on Christmas Day. So Christmas Eve is just a sort of nice way to get started. So there's no pressure on you to have sort of the best night of your life, or, you know, the best day of your life.
See, I think people who
and that absence of pressure means that you often have a lot more fun.
It's definitely become a lot commercialised as in the recent 25 years. And
How old are you?
How old are you?
How old are you?
oh no, I'm a man of 19 years old, but I'm saying, like, it's literally become
Wise beyond your years, Jack Herbert.
I have, yes, but it's become, I don't know, I feel like New Year's Eve's become like a chore. Like, you don't want to go out, but you feel like you have to go out.
Yeah.
And it's like back home in Wales, this is a club. It charges.
Are you Welsh?
Are you Welsh?
I wouldn't have thought.
Oh,
I thought you were from Surrey.
really? Yeah. No, it
Sorry,
starts
mate,
off.
go ahead.
Yeah, entry's about £2.
Just a Christmas joke.
Yeah, entry's about
Good
£2.50.
racist Christmas joke.
Yeah.
mate.
But on New Year's Eve is about £10 to £15. And I think the club's just making the money, really, aren't they?
It's because they know that people need a place to go, and people are desperate, and, you know, people will pay excessive amounts. I mean, we had the same conversation regarding Halloween, in that people want a place to go and need a place to go, and they'll pay sort of all manner of money to have a good night, and the clubs have sort of capitalised on that.
Personally, I think people who are whining about New Year's Eve, that happens every year. People who whine about Christmas Eve are doing it wrong. I think people going to a pub or a club paying extortionate prices is the wrong thing. House parties on New Year's Eve are the way to go. And luckily, I'm not saying I'm part of the social elite.
Here.
I am.
Oh, yeah.
But the last 4 or 5 years, we've had some bloody good house parties. Best night of the year has been on New Year's Eve.
We hit up Balmoral, we have a few.
And
Play in the garden.
And this year until last week, I thought it's going to be the first year that I'm going to go trek to London and try and have a good night at some place, paying 30 quid for entry. Luckily, someone's pulled out the bag. A friend of a friend has come out with New Year'sEve at Hall Farmhouse in Northamptonshire. You're all invited, and it should be.
I mean, I've accidentally signed up to go to Peckham for New Year's Eve.
Really, that'd be nice.
And I'm sort of worried that, you know, that the PYGs, the Peckham Young Gunners, are gonna, you know, rid me of my bloody wallet
You gotta be strong.
and dignity.
Back in the day, you know, you in year 10, year 11, there'll be loads of house parties for, you know, New Year's Eve, and then you'd all bring your, you know, 4-pack or 6-pack of Strongbow, and it'll be the best night ever. But nowadays,
much has changed.
nowadays, you know, a lot of people are worried about, you know, hosting house parties because we're all so much older. You know, there's a lot more responsibility. You know, everyone's older, everyone's more. You know, there's lots.
Just got to get the cheese board right.
My advice is host radio shows, not house parties. You get more kudos, more ladies, more recognition. It's the logical thing to do. Right, I want some more Christmas tunes, and what what better way to continue our Christmas theme than with a little bit of Wham. So this is Last Christmas. That was Voice of an Angel and Sexual Deviant, George Michael, and Wham with Last Christmas. Now, next we're going to be talking about family Christmas traditions.
Speaking
And,
of
'cause obviously,
sexual deviancy.
here's Jake Cutter. So we're going to be talking about, family Christmas traditions. Can we shut the door, please, Jake? Sorry. Everyone likes to do Christmas in their own way. I think everyone feels like them and their family does Christmas the right way. So I'd like to hear from my guests sort of what they, what they think Christmas should be. Is there anything their family does that they think is a good idea or a bad idea? And other than the excessive boozing and arguing, is there, guys, do any of your family do anything sort of specific? Do you have any specific routines on Christmas Day that you think are good or bad?
Apart from the classic opening presents in the morning, we do go
A couple of tangerines and a bag of cashews.
Yes, and coal. don't forget the coal.
Well, you mine that stuff.
Yes, we do.
You mine cashews.
Yes, but I think we around 12 o'clock we always go to the pub. And saying that, I think a couple of people don't like going to the pub on Christmas Day, but a couple of my family members we don't see on Christmas Day, so we always meet around 1 o'clock for a couple of pints, just to exchange gifts.
Take the edge off.
Takes the edge, yeah, and have a couple of pints and just go back for Sunday dinner and then have a good night afterwards. But I think Ross.
How many pints do you have at the pub?
Well, it depends. Well,
Power hour.
yeah, power hour. So it depends.
3.8.
Probably about
Probably about 4 gills.
5 pints, 5 to 6 pints. Yeah,
So it's a bit of a session almost. If you
it
know
is.
what I mean,
Well, yeah. What do you think Christmas Day is about? Really, it's all about the session. Really,
The wee baby Jesus.
it's all about the sesh. Really.
See, the thing is for me, I think pubs opening on Christmas Day is just another marketing attempt. I think it's just them just trying to get a bit more money. I mean, I think Christmas is a time for, you spend it with your family. Everywhere's shut, and I think that's how it should be. But I think pubs opening their shops to the people who come in and get their pub lunches, who charge £15 for a pub lunch. I think it's extortionate, and I think it's just another marketing tool for the pubs. If I'm very honest with you.
But do you not think that there,
It's a nice point, though, isn't it? It's a
whether
nice
you like it or
point.
not, there are people on Christmas that will be alone, and if the pubs weren't open, they would literally just have to spend the day in their house alone.
Yeah.
Yeah, but is it the case where the people who are lonely go to the pubs, or is it the case where the people like Jack Herbert and his family go to the pub?
No, I'll never forget a couple of years ago when I saw this guy. He was called Errol, and literally he had his name on his table for one. He had his half pint of shandy, and he had his meal, and he left. And that was on Christmas Day, and I've never felt so bad in my life.
He's now dead.
What?
No, he's fighting on, but unfortunately.
See, I think that's why having the pubs open might not be the worst idea.
So people,
maybe we could have a compromise.
People like him have he has the company of the waitresses. He has a bit of cheer.
Is that of the purpose of the pubs for the people that are lonely, or is it just for them to make more money?
Who
That's
knows?
the question. Who
Bit
knows?
of both,
But
probably.
Maybe a bit of both.
I think that's the basis of capitalism. Really, you gotta experience that for yourself.
Okay, Jack Herbert.
The big question.
We love bloody pseudo-intellectualism on Barter anyways. So what about you guys? Have you got any sort of family traditions or routines that you have on Christmas?
Jake Cutter's surely got to have one.
No, I've said mine already. My tradition of arguing and kind of everyone leaving Christmas Day with bad spirit. Really, I think Christmas Day starts off brilliantly, and then
You bring the Monopoly board out, and then it's all hell.
Oh,
isn't it?
I hate Monopoly. I've never played Monopoly.
I'd like to bring it back to shops and pubs being open on Christmas Day. I remember a story about the young Barter in the booth when he got a new remote control car, but Dad actually failed to buy.
I was only
no
6.
insurance on it though.
I was 16 years old, and I was kicking off that I didn't have any batteries. for
Any
this car.
batteries, but luckily the Sikhs who were in the corner shop obviously opened as normal and sold us the batteries. Harry was happy, and Yeah.
Christmas was saved.
Christmas was saved by the Sikh family that owned the shop. So.
Yeah, so I think it's not the worst thing in the world that things are open on Christmas Day. I think as long as you're not forcing people to work. I've spoken to a lot of friends who work in sort of retail or in pubs and restaurants and things, and say that they're sort of bullied into working Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, and Boxing Day.
Well, I mean, have you seen the petition that's been signed? It's been over has it been over 10,000 or 100,000 votes now?
I think,
about closing
all shops
on Boxing Day.
Boxing Day.
Yeah,
That's
all
interesting.
hospitals should be shut. Like, nurses shouldn't have to work.
I used to work in JD Sports. I left about 4 or 5 months ago, and I used to work
Struck off.
No, I struck off
For nicking trainers.
yeah. No.
People could understand it.
Boys, come on the radio now. Keep it down. And then
Got a successful job in radio.
I worked half 1 till I worked half 1 till half 10 at night on Christmas Eve, and that is ridiculous.
Half 10 to what? Half 1?
Half 1.
So you worked basically for an hour and a half.
No,
on Christmas Day.
half 1 till half 10.
Oh, on Christmas Eve.
Back in time Santa, so you can't.
You Welsh
And then-
know a day's work if it hit you in the face.
then 9 till 6 on Boxing Day.
How did you feel about that, Mr. Gerbert?
I was, I don't know, it depends. Well, I thought I was getting double pay on Boxing Day, but it turns out that because it was on a Saturday, I didn't get paid it. So, I was really unhappy about that.
Yeah. Did it ruin Christmas for you?
It ruined Christmas, yeah.
What a shame.
What a
Well, I was
shame.
on £4.
The world's coming to an end.
I was on £4.20 as well, so I think, yeah.
Nice, man.
£4.20.
Yeah.
Yeah, you see. So, I mean, we got a bit of a routine in the Barter house now. Now that me, Ryan, and our other brother Miles have reached, a certain age, we can go out together and have a few beers. Another thing we like to do on Christmas Eve or Christmas Day is watch the film With Nail and I, which I don't know if any of you have seen it, but I don't really know how to describe it. It's basically a film about two struggling actors, alcoholics, who accidentally go on holiday, and hilarity ensues. And it's a bit of a cult classic, and we've come to sort of watching it around Christmas time. Are there any films that are sort of customary in your household?
I know it's not a Christmas film, but it always is on that time of year. Chicken Run.
I love Chicken Run.
Is an
Really?
absolute banger.
Are they on holiday?
We watched it the other day at our house, and I think if there's one thing that gets me into the Christmas spirit is when you turn on BBC Two and Chicken Run is on, and that really.
To be fair, I would sort of go further with that and say anything done by Aardman just makes me get Christmassy. So you're talking Chicken Run, you're talking Wallace and Gromit, you're talking Creature Comforts, just sort of any of those Aardman films. They just always make me feel so Christmassy.
I mean, last year for me it was me and my old man. We just we watched the first three things of Harry Potter.
Yeah,
they were on Sky, and we watched them. And I was sat there after the third one. I was like, "Am I seriously watching a fourth Harry Potter on Christmas Day?" And the rest of my family had buggered off into the other room, and because they were so fed up of Harry Potter. But I think Sky Movies, they always play some decent movies on Christmas Day, whether it's Christmas or not. They always play some good movies. So.
I mean, I've got no shame in admitting that I think Love Actually is probably one of the best Christmas films that have been made.
I
as much as Richard Curtis is an absolute tool, God, he writes a good rom-com, doesn't he? It's
yeah.
And, Love Actually.
What about Home Alone? What do you find of that?
I've never really, I think I've seen the first one
Don't
years
say
ago.
it,
Yeah, no.
Don't say you haven't seen
I'm not going to say, I'm not going to say I
Home
haven't
Alone.
seen Home Alone. I have seen it, but it's never really been a sort of Christmas, it hasn't really had a lot of prominence at Christmas for me for some reason. I don't know
Really?
I
why.
cannot stand it. I cannot stand it.
Really? I think it
I
was a
don't know
shit
where
with
I am right now. I cannot believe it. Wait, you don't like Home Alone?
If you're dreaming, if you like Home Alone, it's like
it's
slapstick
fantastic.
comedy of Home Alone. Once you're over the age of about 11, I think
No.
you've got to come to your senses. and
It's a
realise
classic.
that-
Man. It's a
I
classic.
agree with you when it comes to the third and fourth film. It goes down the drain because
It's not realistic enough for me.
I mean,
if
yeah,
anyone's
it
seen
is.
the
What?
Family Guy, if anyone's seen the Family Guy, sketch of Home Alone, where
Yeah,
they
it's
show
so good.
what would really happen if a burglar came into the house,
Yeah.
and was being protected by a 9-year-old kid, then yeah, that's,
I mean,
that's
I-
what that's
You-
what
you
I
was-
I don't know about you,
10,
but
actually.
I prefer to see Joe Pesci, shanking someone in the boot of a car in Goodfellas than, trying to break into Macaulay Culkin's house. That, just personal opinion.
On Christmas Day.
On Christmas Day, I mean, yeah, we normally watch, what do we watch? We watch Scarface normally. Schindler's List is a big classic on Christmas, on Christmas Day. Lock, Stock and Two Smoking Barrels. In fact, all the Guy Ritchie films are, good classics. But actually, on a serious note, The Muppet Christmas Carol is also, it's probably that, in terms of films that are actually about Christmas, I think The Muppet Christmas Carol is the best thing that's ever been made, like surrounding Christmas.
It's better than the book.
It's better than the book. Charles Dickens, Gonzo, Kermit the Frog, Michael Caine. Michael bloody Caine. You can't beat it. Do you know what else you can't beat? Chris Rea, Driving Home for Christmas. That was Rear of the Year, 16 years running, Chris Rea with Driving Home for Christmas. Now, we love Christmas music here on Barter in the Booth. It's getting us very festive. And I want to ask the guys, what is your favourite Christmas song, or even your most hated Christmas song? Are there any that you absolutely love, or any that you really, really do despise?
So I was actually, I'm actually old enough to remember proper Christmas #1. It was a big thing who would get Christmas #1. And then Simon Cowell and the X Factor sort of commandeered Christmas #1 as it was always a dead cert that their song from the winner of the X Factor would get Christmas #1.
Which is why I was a big fan of the protest vote in 2009, in which Rage Against the Machine beat X Factor winner Joe McElderry to Christmas #1. I was absolutely gagging to play Killing in the Name of here on Barter in the Booth, but for some reason it's not on our, database of songs. So we've had to go without it today. But, kudos to them.
Sir just sold out to Simon Cowell.
Yeah, I think that's the case.
Capitalism.
I can't say I have a favourite Christmas song, but I definitely have a least favourite Christmas song, and that has to be Wonderful Christmas Time by Paul McCartney.
Really?
Yeah, I've been on...
that's one of my favourites.
I've just been on...
The wrong one always dies.
This is true.
I've just been on...
Lennon, not McCartney.
War is Over is so much better.
I've just been looking up at the lyrics on the internet. It's a real game changer. And I've seen some of the lyrics. They really anger me. One of the verses is, "A choir of children sing their song, ding dong, ding dong, ding dong, ding ooh, 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 toot, 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 toot."
Yeah, but that's like
who wrote that?
Yeah, but that's like
Soundtrack to the 70s.
Yeah, but that's like
Yeah.
that's like Oh Bloody Oh Bloody. Like Paul McCartney always wrote the kind of just nonsense pop songs. It was Lennon that that had the deep meaning and the poetic.
I am the
poetic.
Hallmark.
And the other thing is, you write one song.
That was
like-
an off phase after he dropped enough tabs of acid to kill an elephant.
You write one song like this with awful lyrics, and year on year it gets bought and downloaded on iTunes, and it's a steady stream of money, isn't it? For you, I think, I'm not a fan of that.
So I can't remember what Christmas song it was, but apparently it brings in £250,000 a year.
Unfortunately, due to a slightly late start, the show recording was cut short by just a few minutes. We had the Performing Arts Society banging on the door of the studio wanting their slot, so it was just a few hurried goodbyes and well wishes to our listeners, which I now extend to you. Thank you so much to everyone who has supported the podcast over its first month. I wish you a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And I can't wait to get back to work bringing you some great content in 2021. Go well.